Good morning, Wareham, and it is Monday, December 16th. We have a great show here for you. The news headlines, the weather report, and today in history. Well, this morning I have quite the treat for you. Learn about community youth empowerment. We have Joanne Gamble and few of her colleagues who are going to be coming in to talk about the CYE program that they are planning to implement in Wareham Public Schools. But before we get to any of that, I would like to take this moment to thank Not Your Average Antiques, an antique shop down Cranberry Highway in East Wareham, for donating the props that you see in the morning show. So stay tuned because the news headlines and the weather report are next. Okay, so welcome back. Not a lot of news, but bear with me. We're going to start with Route 6. So Route 6 may soon see upgrades as the Southeastern Regional Planning and Economic Development District, also known as SERPED, is working to make the road safer. This working with the state to make the road safer. On Thursday night, the group held a public meeting to share the results of a traffic study explaining potential improvements and to hear feedback from those who regularly use the road. Jed Cornock, SERPED project manager, said that the public's top concerns include high traffic speeds, pedestrian safety, and lack of bicycle lanes. Wareham has the most dangerous sidewalks from Hermitage Road all the way to the Shaw's Plaza Marion Road. The safest sidewalks in Wareham are on High Street and Gibbs Avenue. SERPED presented 4 possible designs for Route 6 in an attempt to balance the need to accommodate future traffic, improve safety, and provide better bicycle and pedestrian facilities. During the presentation, our residents raised their concerns regarding the implementation of bike lanes, complaining that improvement of the drained system would cost a lot of money. Others also fear those bike lanes will drastically increase the travel time. And the Friends of the Wareham Veterans Council laid wreaths at several town monuments and cemeteries on December 13th in honor of those who served. The action was inspired by the National Wreath Across America Day, a holiday where wreath-laying ceremonies are carried out at Arlington National Cemetery and more than 1,600 locations across the United States and abroad. Bob Politis of the Friends of the Wareham Veterans Council spearheaded the effort in what he said was an attempt to bring a sense of patriotism and respect closer to home. The 7 memorial wreaths placed at monuments across the town were created by the Garden Club members. And that is all for this morning news headlines. And right now we are going to take a look at our weather forecast. Okay, it's a typical wintry day out there, and actually we are going to see some winter weather tonight. We are talking about some snow, chances of snow. So intervals of clouds and sunshine this morning with more clouds later during the day. We are looking at 38 for a high, not too warm out there. Cloudy with periods of snow after midnight, low around 27 degrees. Rain and snow in the morning. This is tomorrow morning, Tuesday. The rain and snow will change to all rain by afternoon. We're looking at 39 for a high. Evening light rain followed by a mix of rain and snow showers later at night, low around 29 degrees. So tonight and also tomorrow leading to Wednesday morning, we are going to experience a little showers of snow out there. Anyway, that concludes this morning news headlines and the weather forecast. We are going straight to our first featured program of the day, and that is taking a look at vaping, trying to teach students at Wareham Middle School the dangers surrounding vaping. Take a look. In a world of growing addiction and peer pressure, a local school nurse is teaching her students the tools they will need in order to combat the harmful trends. E-cigarettes and the dangers of vaping is a hot topic at Wareham Middle School.
My daughter told me a couple of years ago that kids were vaping in a class that she was in.
Consequently, she came across the Catch My Breath program, a cigarette and vaping lesson that focuses on peer pressure resistance, the dangers surrounding drug usage, and misleading advertising tactics.
It was just kind of a lucky thing that I happened to came across at the right time when I was hearing about it. And they seem very effective. So, and then now, of course, the whole vaping thing is blown up, and there's so much going on. It's even more vitally important with all these horrible illnesses that are happening.
Did you have a conversation with the students to talk about why they are vaping and what their path was to vaping?
Yes, when we first start, when I very first introduced the lesson, I have a little discussion with them. The young lady who had said that she stopped, I remember her response at the beginning, because she was quite honest about it. She said it looks cool. She said it looks cool. So there's a coolness factor that I've noticed with the advertising. And the kids, show me more. It turned out when I questioned them a little bit more, I think this was last year, they said on YouTube there's a lot of YouTubers who are vaping, and they show these tricks that look cool, and I think a lot of the young boys were encouraged that, like, oh, maybe this will help you look cool and you'll get a girlfriend, that kind of thing.
Catch My Breath program was developed by the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston School of Public Health, with the mission to equip students with the knowledge and skills they need to make informed decisions about the use of e-cigarettes. The program celebrates 2 years at Wareham Middle School. Did they seem to understand the pernicious effects of doing such a thing?
I don't think they do.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. I think that the companies, the e-cigarette companies, have promoted the product in a way, well, when you say vaping, for example, you think of water vapor. I know in middle school science, that definitely has to do with the standards we cover. So you think of water coming off of the bay, as we see around here in the morning. You don't think of harmful chemicals. So when they see it, they think, oh, it's just water vapor. And I think the companies were encouraging that, but it's not. It's actually an aerosol. It's fine particles when you ignite it, and so it's not a vapor. It's particles that they're inhaling into the lungs, which we now know is so bad. So the kids really don't know that it's dangerous.
The program has generated earnest success. So far, 2 of her students have expressed how the program has empowered them to stand up against peer pressure and the desire to vape.
They seem quite thrilled to be informed about it. They're happy for the news, and they feel kind of empowered, I would say. And sometimes if we have time at the end of the week, I'll have them make posters, or I'll say, well, do you want to do something more with this? And they say, oh, we'd like to make posters to do something to teach the other kids, because they feel they're knowledgeable now, and knowledge is power.
Now, when we talk about kids, this is the middle school. How young are these kids who are vaping?
Well, I don't hear about it. We don't really have much of a problem with it here. It comes up rarely at the middle school, just here and there, and it's certainly, as far as I'm aware, it hasn't come up as much in discipline. I think it's more of a problem at the high school, but obviously it does happen here and there, and kids are seeing it. And I feel very strongly that 7th grade especially is a really prime time to get these kids with lessons, because from what I understand about their development and their age, I work with a lot of different ages, they're just kind of on the cusp of, are they going to try it? 7th grade for some kids, they might start. 8th grade, 9th, 10th, I think the older you get up into high school, there's a more chance because they're exposed to it. But I feel this is the right age to give them these lessons. Yeah.
Are you working with a nurse at the high school to further this lesson to help those students at the higher level?
No, I don't work with the high school. We don't have a lot of opportunity to meet with them. I am, with other work I'm doing now, um, towards addiction, I am starting to work more with the high school on that. And of course, the e-cigarettes fall under the category of addiction because of the nicotine in it. So I am wanting to do that, and I am looking forward to do that. I've made some connections at the high school, and that's something I'm working on now.
So when we're talking about addiction, you talked about vaping. Also, I'm thinking substance abuse such as alcohol.
Yes.
All right. Marijuana is also very big.
Yes.
Especially that now it's legal.
Yes.
What other types of addiction are you covering? Because our area and those neighboring towns around the Cape, we are swamped when it comes to opioids addiction. We have
Yes.
lost a lot of people.
Yes.
And some of these kids may be coming from homes where they have lost very prominent people in their
Yes.
homes.
Yeah.
So what other addictions or substance use do you cover, and how do you present it to them in a way that they can fight the idea or the notion of being cool, doing something for just
Yeah.
being cool rather than being themselves and to make something better of their lives?
Yes, yes. Well, yes, it's very important. Well, the way I start off addiction is, well, we talk about addiction specifically. We talk about it, and we discuss different substances and things that are addictive, because we talk about, can you be addicted to video games, and what does it mean to be addicted? So we talk about the difference between physical addiction and mental addiction. And so I tell them that some drugs, literally alter the way that the brain works. And some drugs people can, and you'd have withdrawals if you stop taking it, as opposed to a mental addiction where you feel like you need it, but you could stop and there'd be no sign. So we talk about how marijuana can be mentally addictive, but not physically addictive. So it's two different types. We discuss that. We talk about addiction in all different forms, and we also talk about why. And on my website, I've posted, because the lists are great, what the kids come up with after we've spent some time discussing it, why you don't want to be addicted. And so they list things like, the cost and what it could do to your family, and the trust your friends might have in you, the trouble you can get in school. And I did this, I remember, towards the end of last year. One young man who was in the class, he said, wow, I never thought about all the consequences to being addicted. So we talk about the opioid addiction and how now the problem has ballooned so much because of people being prescribed painkillers from their doctors, and how that's created a whole, another level to the problem, and how kids had gone into their parents' medicine cabinets or grandparents' medicine cabinets and taken pills sometimes, just thinking, not knowing what it was as an experiment, and how that led to it.
She acknowledges that with the legalization of substances such as marijuana, one way to combat the problem is focusing on postponing rather than abstaining.
So the research I'm doing, being back in school, is showing me that a lot of these abstinence-only programs for drug education really didn't work. The DARE program, which a lot of people thought it was abstinence only. They say that what works more effectively is teaching kids to at least postpone it, accept the idea. I mean, in this culture, honestly, television, movies, everywhere you look, if you think about it, we do a lot of promotion of drugs and alcohol and stuff that is addictive. So we have to recognize the fact that that's there. The kids see it. Of course, they're curious about it. And we also kind of make it look glamorous and sophisticated sometimes. So there's a good chance that they're probably going to want to try some of these things later. So I say to them, if you could just wait, because your brain is developing. I show them this clip. We look at a couple of other pieces of evidence that speak to the same facts, and I think that does resonate with them. It's like, okay, try it, but how about you just wait? Wait until you're that much older, and yeah.
Now, these are all like viable lessons that you're teaching here. I'm thinking at what are different ways you can involve an entire community. Therefore, when you don't have your eyes on your kids, somebody else can watch them.
I'm glad you asked that question. I'm glad you asked that question. So I've recently gone back to school at Northeastern University, working on a doctorate of education, And the way that the program runs is we follow, or we are being taught to follow a model called action research. And so what I'm going to do is work with the community. I've already made contact with Lieutenant Correa at the Wareham Police, and he told me about a drug court. So I'm in touch with a probation officer there who's going to allow me to come in and kind of see how it works. So ultimately what I want to do is work with different members of the community who are stakeholders in the problem of addiction, who work with it, first responders, programs around town that help with addiction. And I want to get their input on what they think kids need to learn, what are the lessons that even hopefully speak to people who do have addiction problems, say, what do you think maybe would have stopped you when you were younger, or do you have some advice? And then create a new set of addiction lessons that address specifically the problems that people in our town see as the bigger issues.
Okay, we are going to continue with more interesting programs today. So now we look back to what took place. Oh my God, I believe it was last Saturday. Anyhow, we had a Christmas parade, a tradition here in Wareham. So take a look at who was there.
Hi, I'm Marie Ferreira,
And I'm Laurie Ellis.
and we're with the Wareham Public School Department, the school bus drivers, and this is our third annual Stuff-A-Bus for Turning Point to benefit families in the town of Wareham.
2 years ago, we decided we were going to do stuff up. Turning Point could not meet their need to help the families. So we decided that we were going to do a Stuff-A-Bus. So we threw it together, I think, within a week.
Yeah.
And we parked it at the middle school parking lot, and we ended up stuffing a small bus. So we decided that we're going to go bigger.
And we decided to make it an annual event so that they could count on us every year assisting them with their assistance. We collect toys. As you can see, we have boxes of toys that we're collecting.
Non-perishable food items.
We've had a couple come, and they handcrafted cradles with little baby dolls in them. Aren't they adorable? And we'd like to, our biggest sponsor is Delkin out on Cranberry Highway, Chrissy. When people don't pick up their dry cleaning, she has pressed and cleaned and packaged clothes and blankets and stuff. It's amazing what she does for us. She's amazing. And then we had a lady that had a dollhouse given to her, and all the finishings of shingles and furniture and stuff, and she was unable to do it and wanted to know if we would accept it as a donation. Of course, we were excited about that. Lori and I really wanted to play with that. And then we have food. We collect food, toiletries, gift certificates, just a little bit of everything to help out as much as we can. It's just amazing. Sometimes we have people pull up and they have us in tears because they tell us their stories about being in need and stuff. So we get a little choked up.
Merry Christmas! Happy New Year!
Wareham school bus drivers wish you a happy holiday season.
Merry
Merry
Christmas!
Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas from Solo Fitness.
Hi, I'm Rosa.
And I'm Talia.
And we are from Little People's College. Woo! We wish you all a Merry Christmas.
I want to wish you a Merry Christmas!
I love this part. I love this part.
Hi, I am Nicholas Backlund, and I'm from the Power Martial Arts Center, and I would just like to say Merry Christmas.
Hello, I'm Michelle from Kaleidoscope of Dance and Gymnastics. This is Janine and all of our kids, and we want to wish you all
Merry Christmas!
My name is Daniel Peters, and we represent the Wareham Gatemen. I want to wish you the Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas from the Wareham Police Department.
In case you're looking for a way to express your gratitude for this Thanksgiving, Papa's Pet Project could use your help.
Papa's Pet Project was founded by myself in 2009, and it started as just a kitten rescue because the kittens were being dropped off at the shelter that I was volunteering at.
Located in Monument, Plymouth, the nonprofit rescue provides shelter and permanent homes for stray and abandoned animals.
We average approximately 200 cats are rescued and adopted every year. Our need is always volunteers, foster homes, fundraising, people who want to do some fundraising for us. Some of the vet bills are atrocious, and 3 cats this year had stomatitis, which is a dental disease, and each cat's vet bill was $1,500.
The shelter abuts a pet supply store whose net proceeds go back to supporting the much needed operation. One of the key messages the adoption center pushes is the need to spade.
With cats, they can get pregnant at 6 months, and it's a horrible thing. It's horrible. By 9 months, they're delivering 4 to 6 kittens. They don't know what's going on. They haven't had a kittenhood. You know, maybe some kittens won't make it in the delivery. It's really a horrible thing. And then this little kitten, who's just 9 months now, has to take care of 4 to 6 kittens for the next 3 months, or I should say for the next 8 weeks. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for them. So putting a cat through that just because they didn't get spayed is just not necessary in this day and age. It's not necessary.
So when people come here to adopt a cat or a kitten, what are some of the requirements you're looking for?
Okay, that's a good question, because every rescue has adoption applications, and the things we're looking for is that they're responsible. They've brought their animals to a vet when they've needed to be, seen by a vet. That the other animals they've had in the past, they've lived a long life. That their references are good, and that they have a home that will allow pets, which unfortunately is really hard.
The shelter has recently been the lucky recipient of a substantial donation from Walmart, all thanks to Sophia, who participated in a philanthropic challenge through the franchise to raise awareness and funds on behalf of Papa's Pet Project.
For me, growing up, we didn't have pets. I didn't know much about having animals. My husband and I got a nice apartment. We could have cats, and we rescued a little kitten. It's before I knew about shelters. It was a situation where someone had free kittens, and so we took this little kitten in, and he was very sick. We brought him to the vet. It required lots of care, and I got concerned. I was worried because if he hadn't been with us, what would have happened? So it just began there. I started finding local shelters that needed, whether it be goods, paper towels, anything like that, and we started bringing things to these shelters. Then I started volunteering. I've done trapping, which trapping ferals, which are like the unsocialized cats outside. We've done fostering. I've been a foster failure, which means when it's time for the cat to come back to the shelter for adoption, we just can't part ways and they stay with us. We've done hospice care, which is providing kitties that are terminally ill like a home to be in instead of, living out their days in a shelter. We just give them that unconditional love.
As for 2020 goal,
the cats that have been slipping through the cracks, and those are the cats that didn't actually get socialized enough to be adopted, but they're not feral and they can't be released. And there's lots of them out there. So we need foster homes that will work one-on-one with the cat, nice and slow, nice and easy, but they deserve a life too. I would love for a rehab to take in a cat that the people that are trying to recover can have a little love and success. Because once you make that bond with a cat, especially if it's scared, there's nothing like it. And it changes you. It changes your heart. And sometimes that's what people need to get over the tragedies that they've suffered. And a lot of people can identify how scared a cat is. So rehabs or nursing homes.
So you talked about that this costs a lot of money and
Yes.
a lot of time.
Yes.
So what is the most rewarding part of this?
This. This right here, this little one. This little one is saved. She's fixed. And she's ready for her new home. And she's going to be adopted with her buddy Hammer. And they get along, they play, and as soon as they pick their family, they'll be having a great life. This is the reward.
Hello, this is Queen Banda from WCTV. Today we're in Pembroke visiting Lorraine, the owner of Pretentious Pickle. Hi, Lorraine.
Hi.
Lorraine today is going to show us how she makes her fan favorite pickled sweet and sour beets right here. So stay tuned because this is going to be a one crunchy, delicious meal. How did you get started?
Well, I pickled all my life. Used to always pickle with my dad, and we have a lot of family recipes that were passed down. And then somebody said, you should start giving this out to people and see how they like it. And that's how it started. I just started doing farmers markets. The way I came up with Pretentious Pickle was really weird because I was meditating. And all of a sudden, the name Pretentious Pickle came in my head, and I was like, I wonder what that is. And a few minutes later, I was like, that's me.
Out of nowhere, just the one Pretentious Pickle.
Yeah, meditating is always the way I'm meditating. So I came up with the name, and I thought, well, something, I'll just see where it goes. And that was about 2 years ago, and I've never looked back. And we just kept going from there. And the more you do the markets, the more people start asking for things. And they're like, well, can you do this? Can you do that? And people love to give you their recipes too. And when we make our beer pickles, because we use Mayflower Brewery a lot, and we source them for all of our different beer pickles. And this one is their new Thanksgiving. And when I was thinking about that, I was like, now what do I want to use for a brine with that will complement? That's a very dry tasting beer, so I had to come up with something like that if I wanted to be a little sweet. So that took a little bit of work. Okay. And you do like 2 or 3 brines before you finally get it right. And you ask people to try it too. My children usually like to volunteer.
Yeah, they're good for that. So I'm looking around here. You can pickle almost anything.
Yes.
I mean, I am familiar with pickled beets, and of course familiar with pickled pickles. But I'm looking at green beans, right? What we have, the green beans, we have red onions right here, we have garlic, oh my God, we have cauliflower in here. So it's like all this.
I just look at things now and I'm like, yeah, I'd pickle that.
Is there anything that you cannot?
Not that, I mean, you have to use a little bit of sense with it. You wouldn't try and pickle, I don't know, just something silly. But if it's a vegetable, 99% of it you can pickle.
Yes.
In the summer we do the pickled watermelon, we do okra, we do things that are seasonal too. So with the holiday coming up, like this is some of our selection for our Thanksgiving. And we'll do pickled beets, we do the pickled cranberries, and we also do a cranberry gin pickle, and we use the dirty water cranberry, it's a bog witch, their gin, and all of that will be just for Thanksgiving.
Very good. Now tell me, what's your biggest seller?
Bad Larry's. Bad Larry, yeah, that's this one right here. And it's a spicy string bean, it's a spicy dill bean. When you open these, they're very crispy.
Okay.
And we call them Bad Larry's because my cousin Kim was eating them one day. She's like, I love that Bad Larry. I go, okay, well, there's that. So we call them Bad Larry's, and they are fabulous and Bloody Mary. But my favorite is definitely the beets. And even when I'm cooking them, it's like 3 for the judge with me. I love beets. So working with that was a funny story because probably about a month and a half ago, there was a woman at the market, and we were talking about the beets, and I'm like, these are my pride and joy. I said, and I take a stone, my sister Patty gave me a nice stone, and I grind the clove up in it, so it's almost a dust, and then I sprinkle it into the brine, and she goes, oh, the old Amish way. I'm like, I didn't make that up. She's like, no, that's what I was like, I'm like, no, I made that up. No, they've been doing it for 100 years. I was like, well, I didn't know them, so still my idea. But I had no idea that somebody else did it. This is not good. Oh my God. So in here we just have.
I'm going to break it.
In here we have sugar, ground clove, whole clove, cinnamon, ground allspice, and vinegar.
Are you sure you cannot turn that into juice or something, a warm drink or something to drink? It's not even good.
Oh my God. I know it does smell good, doesn't it? It's delicious. I love this brine. I love the way it makes the kitchen smell. Can eat it all the time. Yeah, a lot of people do. It is, it's a good product.
Which it shouldn't be bad, right? Because it's not like I'm stuffing my face with a cake.
No, it's good for you. Maybe a little sugar, but nothing to worry about.
So thank you so much for joining us in the show. Again, I had Lorraine from the Pretentious Pickle Company making pickled beets, you name it. From WCTV, I am your host, Queen Banda. Have a wonderful day.
Well, hello and thank you for being with us this morning. We are broadcasting live from our WCTV studio. This is Good Morning Wareham, your source for local news, weather, traffic, and more information. And now for a moment in history, let's take a look at where we were today in history. Wow! We're just smiling here because we're so happy. Anyhow, on this day in tea history, the Boston Tea Party happened in 1773. American colonists disguised as Native Americans snuck onto 3 British trading ships and threw over 300 crates of tea onto Boston Harbor. Led by Samuel Adams and the rambunctious Bostonians, Lambunctious. Anyhow, Bobby's trying to correct my pronunciation here this morning. Okay, these very motivated Bostonians were upset at the new taxes that had been forced upon them by the British. The Tea Party would lead to the British enacting the Intolerable Acts, laws that gave them much more power in America. This would, of course, eventually lead to the American Revolution. Anyhow, also on this day in film history, the movie Avatar was released in theaters in 2009. And we have people here in the studio doing a little dance just because of this fact. And now we're still waiting for the part 2 of this movie. We've been waiting for 10 years now. And as it says, yes, 10 years ago, the Blue Aliens guys are known as the Navy in the film, made their way onto pop culture by becoming the highest grossing film of all time, a record it held for nearly 10 years until it was beaten by Avengers Endgame. Woohoo! Anyhow, so that is something to celebrate. And as I said, we are waiting for part 2 of that film, hopefully very soon. Also, on this day in accident history, 2 airplanes crashed onto each other over New York City in 1960. One plane from Chicago was headed to JFK Airport, while the other plane was going to LaGuardia Airport when their path tragically crossed. It was a snowy day in New York, making it difficult for the pilots to see one another, leading to a fatal crash that caused 134 people to die. For this day in birthday history, shout out goes to Ludwig van Beethoven. The legendary composer was born in Germany in 1770, and he created many iconic pieces of music, including Für Elise and the Moonlight Sonata. Despite being going deaf in his later years, he's still a world-renowned composer. And that is all for this morning history segment. To learn more cool historical facts, you can go online under history.com. Stay with us. The coffee segment is next, and we have 3 people from the Community Youth Empowerment Program here coming to talk about what they're hoping to enact here in Wareham starting in January. So stay with us. We are going to take a look at our calendar while we're bringing our guest in.
Today's cell phones are not only an extension of our arms, but a life tool. Hello, I am Maureen Farrington from Advantage Custom Apps. I am here today to talk about a certain app, a tool that will help you navigate your way through the Wareham community. The WCTV app places your local community in the palm of your hand. The app is a place where you will find local events, town meetings, local and school sports, community interest stories, compelling interviews, and most of all, the ability to shop local. Connect to the Wareham app by going to your web browser and typing in wctv.app. And then, once you bring up the web link, you have the opportunity of adding WCTV's app to your home screen. Once you download the app and save it to your home screen, you will then have the opportunity to, with the touch of a finger, hit the call button, which we call WCTV, the refer us button. You can refer the app to your friends and families. There's a Facebook share button if you'd like to put that on your Facebook page as well. And here is the menu tab. On the menu tab, we have YouTube videos, new program proposal, events that WCTV is hosting, a photo gallery, contact button, and can lead you right to their website. We also have a Shop Local tab. When you touch on that, you'll see the local businesses that you can frequent. Also, there's an About Us tab telling you some information about WCTV, their hours and directions. This here will take you right to their Facebook page. There is a donate button if you would like to donate to WCTV, and a join button that will let you join their community. Many local establishments are listing their business on the WCTV app. And you can too. It's a great way to showcase your business to your existing customers and your potential new ones. For a nominal fee, you could list your business on the Shop Local tab as well. A percentage of that fee goes to fund a scholarship for an outgoing senior. So be in the now and get the WCTV app on your home screen.
Well, welcome back. And now it is the coffee segment. I have our live guest in the studio to talk about community youth empowerment. With me is Brianna King, okay, Camry Lopes, and Joanne Gamble. Yes, okay, and you are the program director, right? So before we get to talk about what this program is, we need to get to know our guest better. So we're going to start with you, Brianna. Tell us who you are and how you ended up today here talking about community youth empowerment.
I'm Brianna. I am graduating with an undergrad in social work from Bridgewater this May. I've been working with DCF at-risk youth for about 6 years now. Been good friends with Joanne and Camry for some time now. We all kind of share the same passion of getting the kids involved. So we just really want to focus on that. And right now I do an internship at New Hope, which is a domestic violence sexual assault agency, in which I do community outreach and counseling with them.
Very good, very good. So you're going to be graduating very soon.
Yes, I'm excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Master's or undergrad?
Undergrad.
Undergrad, very good.
Thank
and more
you.
to go, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. All right, Camry, tell us about you.
Hi, I'm Camry. Grew up in the area. Been friends with them for a long time. And also our other discussion leaders, Darian Fernandez and Brianna Gamble. I work at the KEY program right now in Wareham. Basically just for behavioral youth teenagers who were also trying to get into this group. I graduated also at Bridgewater State University along with these two, while Brianna's on her way. And you know, just trying to build my resume up with the KEY program and just trying to start my career.
Very good.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, and now to the director himself.
All right, my name's Jawan. I graduated from Bridgewater State with my master's this past December. Currently, I'm working in Boston at Youth Options Unlimited. It's a nonprofit, and it's workforce development under Mayor Walsh, which we basically offer subsidized employment, private sector placements, and post-secondary education. And it's more of like a mentor aspect. Basically, we teach them soft skills. We do workshops, curriculum, and then take them into the community, kind of do some regular work. It's not too tedious or anything, and that's basically teaching them the skills that they need to know in the real life, and then we transition them to either an internship or private sector placement. So private sector is anything that's livable wage, $15 an hour. In Boston, it's a little bit more pricey.
Yeah.
other than that, I've always coached or been a mentor in some aspect. So really love the kids, love the youth, and that's really what we're trying to do here is just help them out as much as we can.
Very good. So when we are talking about community youth empowerment, what are we talking about? What's the nature of this program?
It's more or less giving the youth as much opportunity and education as we can and kind of just putting them on to things that they may not know of or things that they may not know how to do. I know we all went to Wareham High School, and there's kind of like this little segue into college and things where you just start learning things that you didn't really know in high school. So I think it's important that we start teaching them these little avenues and transitions that they can learn ahead of time, like obviously financial literacy, and then other than school or education and jobs like that or trades, we want to get into the aspect of like mental health, right? So we're going to use community leaders or people who have a certain career and use them as a volunteer and also as an expert to help us facilitate that workshop. Because it's important that they understand that there's other things in life other than just working and school. Like it's important to keep yourself sane with mental health. It's important to work out, have good hygiene, little things like that. Each workshop's going to be different, and we're going to break it down through the weeks. And every 2 weeks, it's going to be a workshop every 2 weeks. But it's gonna be different every other week, depending on what the schedule's like.
Now you said that this is crucial work. Now, apart from the response, why not? Why here in Wareham? What are some aspects of our community that attracted you? I know you graduated from Wareham High School, but what about our surroundings that you feel this program will best serve the community?
Just going based off of what he said before to your last question, I think us growing up in Wareham, obviously that plays a big role in it, and us growing up, we didn't have this opportunity for someone to start this group, and seeing a lot of our peers go down the path that they went down and see where they are now. Some of them aren't even here, unfortunately. So if we could steer our youth in the right direction now, then hopefully they can make better decisions in the long run, and hopefully we can be a part in that. So if we can just make a change now, then everything hopefully will fall in the right direction in the future.
Okay, so are we going to be, I see that on January 5th, you're going to be at the Wareham Boys and Girls Club. Will this program be through them, or is this through the Wareham Public School District?
I think it's pretty much we're kind of seeing, that was like another reason why Wareham, where I think our community is we're pretty close. We have a lot of connections with a lot of local businesses that also want to empower the youth. So I think being at the Boys and Girls Club helps us to kind of start a little bit of that jump start of people already go there, people already have connections with that. So just getting it out there. We don't have a solid spot. We do, I think we're kind of advertising at the school and these places just to get it out there until we kind of find our home.
Now, this program, is it initiated by three of you? You came together and said we need to do something, or is there an organization backing you guys?
It's initiated by Joanne.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
The mastermind behind Joe.
So, I mean, I know you kind of explained a little bit about crucial things that the youth needs to know prior to their journey in higher education. But could you talk about your personal reasons to how you end up sitting one day and say, you know what, I'm going to start this, and I know this and this person, and they're going to be great at this?
Well, like they said, as a community, we're really close, and a lot of us have the same type of passions. So I think for a lot of us, it was like a thought in the back of our head, but we never really just went out and kind of had discussions about it or what can be done. And realistically, it just took, I posted something on Facebook, like, about the idea, and then everyone just started commenting, sharing, and really reaching out. And then they were first people who were like, "I'm down." So then we had a meeting, and it was just kind of breaking down discussions back and forth, and then we just kind of came up with the idea, the structure, when the first initial meeting is going to be.
And let's talk about the structure. So you said that the classes, they're going to be alternating each 2 weeks, right? So could we dive more into the structure, what we are looking at, how many kids, what are the first lessons to what they will be graduating with, how you are going to monitor progress and say, okay, we have accomplished our goal towards the end?
So I think that we so far have just kind of jotted down things that we would like to talk about, things that we each individually looked at when we were in high school. What would better us? What did we wish we had in high school as tools to kind of better navigate my story a little bit? I graduated in 2011 from high school, and I'm just now graduating with my undergrad in 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
And so it took me a lot longer than maybe your average person that would, graduate, go right to college and graduate right from there. So I think all of us have a unique story. So that's initially where we want to start. And I think we don't really have our first group discussion yet that we want to discuss. We just have the overall topics that we want to discuss.
What are some of those overall topics that you, when you are summarizing or remembering, recalling, the things that if you wish you knew?
I think financial literacy is a huge one. Also knowing that college is not the only option after high school, making sure you can, there's trades, there's community college, there's the 4-year, there's taking a break and working. There's so many options after high school that a lot of kids are just pushed to go to college, and
they may not be ready.
Yeah, and I certainly was not ready, and I'm glad that my family support allowed me to kind of explore what my options were before I really dove into a program, and now I'm happy. I know what I want to do, and I'm in the program that I enjoy and love. So
now you're talking about, you're mentioning that there are other routes after high school. Give kids a break to rethink and reevaluate themselves. So this also requires connecting with different community people, programs, directors, businesses, in order to bring everything into full fruition. It's one thing to provide the information, but it's another thing to say, you can get this right here. Now I'm connecting you guys.
Yep.
So tell me about your partners, people you have spoken with, businesses, organizations in our community that are also have said, we're down.
So our other discussion leader, Ashley, she's really good in the community. She actually started this before, but it was not technically the community youth empowerment. And she is actually a partner in the Wareham High School. She does the SAIL program, so she's going to get the youth, the generation, and the teachers and all of them out there. And then our community, we know a lot of local business owners that will help us bring the parents out and, just like get that advertisement part out there. So hopefully that will bring a lot of people.
What are some of the challenges you feel going into this? There's a lot of potential. Great stuff.
I think there's a lot of potential, but it's more or less which young people want to actually be involved, keeping their attention, right, and kind of like, how do we present this program and ourselves to the point where they're interested in coming? Because we can have all the information for them, but if they don't show up, there's going to be no progress in anything. So I think that's the biggest challenge right there, is just because in the community we have all the partners, we have resources, we have everyone hands in, but it's more or less just the young people coming in and actually being involved.
So on the January 5th, you are hoping residents are going to bring their kids to the Boys and Girls Club, right? And it's going to be an informational section, right? Talking about what you guys are going to do and so forth.
Yeah.
Is this, will people be paying for this program? Is this a free program?
Completely free.
Completely free.
It's free. It's voluntary. Hopefully, like down the road, there's implementations in the school with this program. Maybe like credit recovery or something of that nature, where if they attend this, there's some type of reward, like positive reinforcement. That's more down the road. But for now, it's just kind of like, we're here for you. We're giving you all the information that we have and kind of exposing you to different careers and resources in the community.
Okay. So between now and January 5th, what are you guys working on?
Just continuously coming up with new ideas that I think will spark the interest of the community. Also, we're going to meet up again to kind of get the last minute things together for the 5th and just iron out the wrinkles of it.
And if everything goes smoothly, when can we see this program start?
It should start 2 weeks after the 5th.
Okay.
So the 5th is really whoever in the community wants to stop by, mostly parents bringing their children, their young people, so we can like kind of expose it to the parents as well as like, this is what your kid will be involved in, given like certain topics, and then they can at the end give their feedback of some pros, some cons, maybe a workshop that they, or a topic that they think is necessary. But it's more or less just exposure.
Okay, very good. Anything else you'd like to add that I didn't ask?
Just everyone come out on January 5th.
Yes, you have all worked very, very hard for this, and it will be wonderful to see all the people there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I thank you for coming this morning to tell us a little bit about this program. As I said, Wareham Weekly just wrote a little press release. I didn't know much about what was going to take place, so I'm very happy and I'm very excited for all of you. I cannot wait to see what will happen after January 5th. Personally, I will not be around, but when I get back, I will be there to give you as much promotion as you deserve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, to our viewers, thank you so much for joining us this morning for another Good Morning Wareham program. We were discussing community youth empowerment. With me was Brianna King, who is soon to graduate from Bridgewater State University next year, spring next year.
Yep.
May. Fantastic. Okay, and we have Camry Lopes, who just graduated from Bridgewater State University.
Yes.
Fantastic. And Joanne Gamble, who is their director, and he just recently received, got his master's in criminal justice. Fantastic. All from Bridgewater State University, all from from Wareham High School. So with that, I thank you very much for joining us this morning. If you missed us, this particular show will air this evening at 6 p.m. It will also go on our YouTube channel, Wareham Community Television on YouTube. I will be back here on Wednesday with the guy who is a chiropractor, and he is a juggler, and he is a, God, what's the opposite of a Santa? Grinch. He's all those things. So he'll be here on Wednesday. Thank you, Wareham, and have a pleasant day. Bye.